what did we learn from Virginia? Anything? Because it feels like one of the lessons is that voters want the legislators to do stuff, like not just talk about doing stuff, but actually do things to help them in their lives and get through this pandemic. Why aren't the members of the Democratic caucus at least understanding a piece of the message from Tuesday?
Well, it's in many ways a mixed message, and I'll explain it this way. What voters said is that you got to pay attention to our kitchen table issues, the things that we deal with every day, like gas prices, like the fact that vaccine mandates for places like the suburbs of New York, where a lot of cops and firefighters live, who have decided not to get the vaccine, are not going to be earning income for the next year. We can quibble about whether or not they should be getting the vaccine, and I have my opinions about that. But these are the issues that are affecting a lot of these suburban voters in New York, New Jersey, which we share the media market, and places like Virginia. So on the one hand, they want Democrats to focus on these kitchen table issues. The problem is that Joe Biden's trying to turn this corner on the pandemic. And that's not just about vaccines. That's about getting people back to work. It's about creating infrastructure jobs. It's about intergenerational income and wealth creation, even in the small sense with these kinds of bills. And it's also rethinking how we work. So all of these things combined, you have Joe Biden and the Democrats saying, we've got to, if we're not going to do it, if we can't do it now, it may never happen. But at the same time, we've not really had the ability to tell voters exactly what's in the bill, exactly what they're going to get, and how this will be transformative in their lives. We haven't done that. And that simple task is where the disconnect has taken place. And voters like those in Virginia said, you know what, all they're doing is bickering. They're not really focusing on us. When the truth is the Democrats are, just not talking openly about it or using the right language.
Well, one of the things that's confusing to me, David, is why Republicans are rewarded for not engaging at all, right? So I'm not saying that it's direct correlation between what happened in these elections this past Tuesday and the fact that, Democrats are a little bit in disarray at this current moment. But I do think it's interesting that Republicans have paid no political price for not engaging and governing. Why are they elected if not to govern? Or maybe Republican voters don't see it that way. I mean, what do you think about the idea that there's an entire political party, the Republicans, not engaged in their, doing their job every day?
Look, I think in the lens of election night on Tuesday, Republicans have said to hardcore Republicans, this is not our agenda on Capitol Hill, and so don't expect us to go along with it. On the traditional keeping government working, sure, our votes are there for the hard infrastructure bill, as you saw with the 69 votes in the Senate. But this is Joe Biden's agenda and Nancy Pelosi's and Chuck Schumer's. Don't expect us to go along with it. That works with Republican performing voters. But to the point of where did the additional votes come from on Tuesday night, I think Basil's exactly right. And I would frame it this way for Democrats. First of all, you really split the vote 50-50. It's not as though it was a landslide. The trend came down from Biden's performance. But look, half of Virginia went with you, half of New Jersey went with you. This is not, this is not the end of the road for Democrats. Right. But I would say to Democrats, and Basil's point, it is very possible to be right on the issues, but still be off message. And what I mean by that is Republicans met voters where they were today on inflation and gas prices and schools and masks and COVID policy. Democrats were painting a picture of what the world could look like next year with community college and pre-K and paid family leave. They could be right on those issues, but it simply wasn't where the voter was on Tuesday. But it might be where the voters are next November. And that's why I say to my Democratic friends, don't lament this work you're doing. Keep it up, keep working, because eventually you're going to meet the voters where they are on exactly these issues.